All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, it's been nearly a day since the Los Angeles Lakers had their season ended at the hands of the Phoenix Suns. And what a difference that a year makes, as the Lakers went from being NBA champions in 2020 to being sent home in the first round of the postseason this time around. Now, you look at this season for the Lakers. At one point, they were 28-13, and then the injury bug hit them as they lost both LeBron James and Anthony Davis for an extensive period of time. And with that said, the Lakers limped the rest of the way to a 14-17 finish. You look at this Laker team, and coming down the stretch, and even for the majority of their series loss to the Phoenix Suns, this team never seemed enthused. And of course, one of the big things that we're going to talk about is the body language of LeBron James. We saw the Suns, dominate the Lakers in Game 5, and then, the Suns came with the kill punch for Game 6. And, LeBron, and we've seen it in the past with LeBron, where it's just like, he just checks out mentally. And it was a trickle-down effect once again on this team. Overall, the Lakers, they did not have the depth that they did last year. Of course, we saw veterans such as Rajon Rondo, Danny Green, and Dwight Howard come up big. And, the Lakers lost all of them in free agency. And this time around, the supporting cast around LeBron and Anthony Davis simply was not as good. For head coach Frank Vogel, plain and simple, he was outcoached in this series by Monty Williams. Monty Williams brought it, and, because of that, his Suns are still playing in the postseason while the Lakers are cleaning out their lockers. But make no mistake about it, the Suns were the better team, and the Lakers took them for granted. I mean, coming in, Phoenix was the number 2 seed in the Western Conference, and, a lot of people said, well, how is this team who has not made the playoffs in so long with so many young players going to be able to step up and take care of business? Well, you know what? The Suns were up for the challenge. They showed why they had the second best record in the Western Conference, and they went out there and did their thing. And I think first and foremost, I think Phoenix went out there in game number 1 and set the tempo with that big 99-90 victory. And, granted that they lost the next 2 contests, but, the Suns got some confidence after that. And after the Suns were able to tie this series up at 2 games apiece by winning Game 4 in Staples Center last Sunday, Phoenix got back home and they felt all the confidence in the world. And you know what? They felt like, we were able to take the Lakers' best punch. And, they were able to move through it. And now they're still playing going into the second round. And, Devin Booker had his coming out party. And this is what I talked about leading up to this series. I said I wanted to see, if Devin Booker was going to be up for the challenge, because he has shown that he can be a great regular season scorer. But scoring in the regular season and scoring in the postseason are 2 different beasts. And, Devin Booker stepped up in his first playoff series. He nearly averaged 30 points per contest in the series, including 47 in the series clincher, as he went out there and sent the message to show, hey, listen, I am the real deal. LeBron did not have a LeBron-type series, averaged 23 points per contest. AD, of course, he was limited. He missed 1 game completely. And, honestly, that groin injury was, limited him. And I don't care what anybody says. LeBron still was not LeBron, because an ankle injury is so difficult to overcome. And I really think that LeBron just needs to get to the offseason and try to get healthy at this point in his career. But where were the players like Kyle Kuzma? Kyle Kuzma was missing in action in this series for the Lakers. And again, like I said, this goes back to Frank Vogel being outcoached by Monty Williams, because you know what? Monty Williams had his team ready to play. Frank Vogel didn't. And, you look at this going forward for the Lakers will definitely have a lot of questions heading into the offseason. They only have 6 players on the contract for next year. But with that said, more than $76 million is already committed to LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Dennis Schroeder, I don't see him coming back. Same thing could be said for Wes Matthews, Jared Dudley, Markieff Morris, and Andre Drummond. I think, they played their last games in the purple and gold. I would say, do the Lakers try to trade Kyle Kuzma? But what could you get for him? Will have to be interesting to see what's going to happen. But I think the Lakers definitely have to retool this club as they look to make another push for a championship with LeBron James leading the way. But again, LeBron is going to be 37 years of age this December. And although that he is one of the greatest physical specimens to ever walk the planet, how much longer can we expect him to play at a championship level? This guy's been doing it since 2003. That's a lot of mileage on the body. I know that LeBron, he's always in tip-top shape. He always goes out there and spends, millions of dollars on nutritionists, personal trainers, the whole shebang, to keep himself at that physical peak. But you know what? At the end of the day, he's still 37 years of age, running up and down on the hardwood floors in the NBA. You just have to ask yourself, how much more does LeBron have left in the tank? I still think that he has something left in the tank. He still wants to go out there and be the NBA's all-time scorer. It's right around the bend, for the next couple of seasons. But make no mistake about it, he definitely wants to try to go out there and get championship 5. The Lakers definitely going to have to retool this team. We saw it coming down the stretch in the second half of the season. They flat out did not have the cohesion necessary to go out there and win. And again, like I said, coming into this postseason, the Western Conference is going to be difficult. And the Lakers found that out in this series. I mean, all of these teams had the potential to make runs that made the playoffs. And, they ran into a darn good Suns team, a balanced Suns team. It was just not about Devin Booker. We saw the veteran presence from Chris Paul. He played through that shoulder injury. Kudos to him. Guys like Jay Crowder stepped up. DeAndre Ayton, the former first overall pick, really stepped up as he averaged a double-double for this series. But again, you cannot say enough about what Monty Williams did. He had his team ready to go. The Suns, even though they were the 2 seed, they played that underdog role, and they fed off of that because a lot of people out there were not respecting them. And I said it before, this was the Suns' chance or their date with destiny. They met that date. They took her out. They danced with her. They wined and dined her. And you know what? At the end of the day, the Suns are still dancing. So for the purple and gold, you got to go back and retool. It's going to be interesting to see what the Lakers do this summer to try to put another championship team around LeBron. And I want to see what wheeling and dealing that this front office is going to do, because they're going to have to improve that talent around them. They're going to need more depth. But it's going to, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how they try to figure it out as LeBron goes into the summer trying to get healthy and coming back next season for another shot at championship number 5. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you haven't already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you are on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. Take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.